Happy New Year to all of you, my organic farming enthusiasts, and welcome to yet another video here on our tiny garden where we are always dedicated to the science and the art of organic farming. We are continuing our series on plant nutrition, and in this video, we are going to take a deep dive into understanding more about boron, copper, and iron. So first up is boron, and remember it is very important for us to understand the mobility of these particular nutrients so that we are able to identify whatever deficiencies our plants go through. Boron is considered to be an immobile nutrient, meaning it does not move readily within the plant once it has been taken up by the roots. And as a result, boron deficiency symptoms always often appear in the younger leaves which are actively growing. Boron has diverse functions and it's very critical for the growth and development of plants. Boron contributes to the structural integrity of cell walls. It aids in sugar transport for energy distribution. It influences nucleic acid metabolism and protein synthesis. It is also very vital for proper reproduction, therefore impacting flower development, pollen germination, and seed production. In addition to that, boron also acts as a cofactor for enzymes. It participates in essential biochemical reactions while playing a role in cell division and regulating water uptake and also nutrient absorption. When there's a deficiency of boron, it will definitely hinder plant growth and yield by disrupting these fundamental processes. So how can you tell that your plants have a boron deficiency? So here we have two pictures, one of an apple and the other one of a tomato stem. And one of the obvious signs that you will notice is the cracking or corking of these stems and fruits. You will also observe stunted growth. You will have distorted or thickened cell walls and definitely poor root development. The leaves will also exhibit chlorosis, that is yellowing, particularly between the veins, and they may develop brown necrotic spots. If you look at the reproductive structures, boron deficiency will lead to abnormal flower development. It will lead to reduced fruit and seed set, and it will definitely make your fruits to have distorted seeds. Remember, boron is very important in sugar transportation. Therefore, when we have a deficiency of it, it is going to disrupt this process of sugar and nutrient transport, affecting overall plant vitality. With that said, it is super important that we address boron deficiencies through appropriate fertilization to ensure optimal plant health and productivity. And because here at our tiny garden we are all about organic farming, here is a list of organic sources of boron. Top of the list is compost. We also have well decomposed animal manure. You can also use seaweed and kelp. You can also use vegetables, fruits and vegetable waste, but of course you must compost this very well in order for you to use them in your garden. And we also have boron rich minerals like colemanite and ulexite. It is very important to note that while you are addressing boron deficiencies in plants, it's very important that care must be taken to avoid excessive application of boron, as high levels can be very toxic to plants. It is important that you test your soil and you use a balanced approach to nutrient management. The next micronutrient is copper. Now, copper is considered to be an immobile nutrient. This means it does not readily translocate from older to the younger tissues. And when we have a deficiency of copper, the symptoms will typically appear in the young, actively growing tissues of the plants, and the symptoms often manifest in the tips and in the edges of young leaves. So why is copper so important in our plants and yet it's just a micronutrient? Copper is very important because it's a cofactor for enzymes that are involved in photosynthesis, respiration, and antioxidant defense mechanism. Copper is also very crucial for energy production, cell growth, and stress response. It is an integral part of chlorophyll synthesis, which contributes to the plant's ability to capture light energy. Copper is also involved in root development and nitrogen metabolism, and therefore it's very significant in overall plant growth. One of the most obvious signs when it comes to copper deficiency is wilting. Your plants will wilt even if you are watering them, and copper deficiency actually causes permanent wilting in plants. So the other most notable signs include intervenial chlorosis in young leaves. Remember, this is where we have yellowing between the veins. It also results in distorted leaves, stunted growth. You will have poor reproductive development. It will lead to abnormal flowers and fruits. You will have root abnormalities and increased susceptibility to diseases. And all of these are common indicators of copper deficiency. Again, because we are organic enthusiasts over here, here is a list of organic sources of copper. Again, top of the list is compost. This is why compost is known to be the gardener's best friend. Compost will sort out most of these issues that we have with our plants. The other thing is well decomposed animal manure. We have seaweed and kelp. You can use fish hydrolysate fertilizer to address copper issues. You can use bone meal to address copper issues as it contains small amounts of copper. And you can also use rock powders like ballast rock dust. As you address copper issues in your plants, it's very important to note that just like boron, excessive copper is very toxic to plants. So it's also very important for you to do a soil test so that you can know exactly what it is that you're addressing. And finally, we have iron. Iron is considered to be an immobile nutrient, meaning it does not readily translocate from older to the younger tissues, and therefore deficiency symptoms typically appear in the young, actively growing tissues of plants. Now, iron is important in our plants because it plays a central role in chlorophyll synthesis and it is very crucial for photosynthesis and energy production. Iron is a core factor in various enzymes and therefore it is important for DNA synthesis, nitrogen metabolism, and cellular respiration. Iron has a contribution to root development and therefore enhances nutrient uptake. It is also involved in enzyme activation and therefore supports antioxidant defense mechanisms. So some of the most obvious signs of iron deficiency is leaf intervenial chlorosis of the younger leaves. Remember, iron is an immobile nutrient, so when the symptoms appear, they will obviously appear in the younger leaves first. So some of these young leaves contain no chlorophyll at all, and therefore they appear to be white in color. So the other signs to note is obviously reduced growth, leaf distortion, and poor reproductive development. Here is a list of organic sources of iron, and again, obviously, at top of the list is compost. Guys, I have a very well detailed video on how to make your own compost at home, the art of it, and the science behind it as well. You can also use well-aged poultry manure. You can use seaweed and kelp. You can use fish hydrolysate fertilizer. You can incorporate blood meal into your soil. And you can also be using small amounts of sugarcane molasses into your soil. Now, what the molasses does is that it improves the microbial activity in the soil. And therefore, this will help provide iron and other nutrients to your plants. In the next video, we will be looking at the rest of the micronutrients and we shall be understanding the importance and the role of manganese, molybdenum, nickel, and zinc. So please be on the lookout for the next video. Thank you so much for staying with me up to this part of the video. If you found the content to be informative, please do consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and please do share this video with anyone who might be interested in this kind of content. Until the next video, happy gardening and a happy 2024.